team-high 19, and Carmelo Anthony had 17 in Sunday's win over Russia. The red, white, and blue wave that flag right now on ESPN2. Hello again, basketball fans, and welcome to the Chichong Arena in Shanghai, China for today's friendly between USA and Australia, two teams who will be vying for gold in Beijing. And it's time for your Chevy keys to the game.
Well, despite the Aussies being without one of their key components, it's a physical team. Team USA only +2 on the boards during this Olympic stretch. Deflections, not necessarily steals, but just disrupting the Aussie offense important. And if you're Mike Krzyzewski, this is an exhibition game. You'll see limited amount of minutes from some key guys, I believe. No injuries.
The State Farm starting lineups look like this. 26 combined All-Star appearances for the USA's first wave of Kidd, Bryant, James, Anthony, and Howard. And for the Aussies, Andrew Bogut will not play today because of an ankle injury, but this lineup does feature NBA draft picks David Anderson of the Hawks, Brad Newley, whose rights are owned by the Rockets, and C.J. Bruton, taken by the Grizzlies 11 years ago. And, Coach, it's time to break down the primary rule differences between the NBA and FIBA.
Well, you got 4 quarters, but only 10 minutes. The shorter by almost 3, but by more than 3 feet. Shot line, 3-point shot line, and then also only 5 team fouls, slightly smaller court, the trapezoid lane. One other interesting thing, only the coach can call timeout during FIBA play, and only during a dead ball.
Andrew Bogut not playing here today. #1 overall pick back in 2005. Should be good for the Olympics, but he's the face of the Australia national team, and they're going to need a facelift here today.
Well, they will, and he got hurt in the Angola game. They had a huge lead over Argentina by 19. When he went out in the early second half, Argentina came back and beat the Aussies.
The United States in blue and Australia in yellow and green. The United States 4-0 so far on this pre-Olympic tour, beating Canada, Turkey, Lithuania, and Russia by an average of 36 points. We are underway, and Jason Kidd will cross the timeline and get the Americans into their offense. Their defense has been superlative through these first 4, giving up 75 points per game on just 40% shooting. And early on, Kobe Bryant and one. Picking up where he left off against Russia.
Let me tell you what you love about that. A lot of ball movement. That was a little bit.
Second half against Russia.
Now, this will be interesting because the Achilles heel right now for Australia is some young players that'll be on the floor in the backcourt. Not Bruton, however.
Bruton ties the game at 3. LeBron James triggers the break, but it's picked off by Nielsen. And they move it around. David Anderson is bottled up by Jason Kidd. What defense by J. Kidd.
Very fortunate. The turnover created a 3-on-1 situation.
Ole Miss. We're tied at 5. Kobe can't get by Newley. Now he does. Goes into Nielsen. Scoops it up, and he can't score. Kobe Bryant goes down hard. Landed right on Nielsen. Back come the Aussies. Here is Newley right on Kidd. And 1 for Brad Newley.
Very nice move. Now that's and play for Daryl Morey and Rick Adelman's club, the Rockets.
They are currently loaded, and loading up for a jam is Dwight Howard, the feed from LeBron.
Great ball movement of attracting these Australian young players. Patrick Mills had a terrific freshman year in helping the Gales to the NCAA tournament.
Newley cans a 3. He looks like Fred Hoiberg in the face, and he shoots like Fred. On the shot clock for the Americans, they trail by 3.
Boy, Patrick Mills only 19 years old.
Carmelo Anthony buries it in the face of his defender, the American.
This year, as a freshman in a game against Oregon, bright young prospect. Little zone.
LeBron James right at you. Now, I want to go back to your point for a moment, Frank. Carlos Boozer said on the free throw situation, as Mills slices and dices, he said they did a good job of...
Here he was picked. There was the discussion whether Orlando would take him or Emeka Okafor.
Look at Mills.
This guy. If you are Randy Bennett right now, you are excited. This guy plays for St. Mary's in the West Coast Conference. Right back is D-Wade. Isolation game versus the experience of teams like Spain and Argentina.
Chris Bosh knocked it away, recovered by Mills, underneath to Ansey for the flush, and the Aussies by 4.
There's an example of Team USA knocking the ball loose with a deflection, but Patrick Mills' quickness was able to recover, and they get 2 points out of this.
Almost another turnover by the Americans. Mills takes the pick from Anderson. And a bad pass. Here is Dwayne Wade. He's been rocking the rim this entire tour, and here the good defense by Mills forces him into a layup.
There's Patrick Mills with the turnover. He tried to throw a cross-court pass, and this Team USA offense has really been fueled by deflections and steals. Now, this is an Australia team that led Argentina by 19 in the second half of the Diamond Ball tournament just a few short days ago, and they played that whole second half without Bogut.
Bosh puts it in, and you wonder if they would have beaten Argentina with a full Andrew Bogut and Australia.
National scene for the Australian national youth teams.
Here's Wade with 1 second left, and he is fouled, and Coach Gorgon cannot believe his eyes. Dwayne Wade has 3 free throws coming up.
Now, that's a veteran guy. We always talk about Spain, Greece, and Argentina.
This is Worthington on the move, defended nicely. Darren Williams up ahead to Dwayne Wade, and he breaks something off. That was nice from D. Wade, but better defense by the Americans triggering that offense.
Perfect example. They turn the ball over off the forced shot, and that leads to D. Wade getting out in transition.
USA by 5.
See, that's a deflection right there. You don't get a steal for that, but you disrupt Australia's offense.
And we have words.
This is typical Aussie basketball right here. They do not back down. This is great. This is good for Team USA. And you got no Bogut out there because of the ankle.
He missed the layup. Back comes Darren Williams for the USA. Stutter step move, and it's picked off by Ansey. And he's up ahead to Bruton. Pulls up for the J and knocks it down, and the Australians within 3.
C.J. Bruton, who played at Indian Hills Junior College.
And he missed the finger roll badly.
I think he airballed the finger roll.
That was brutal. LeBron James now turns it over, and I have a question for you. Are you all in? The defense gets by Bruton, and he's short with the shot. Bruton does track it down nicely. Feeds up ahead to Newley, going for the jam. He missed the jam, but it went in. Defended up high by Kobe.
Terrific look by Bruton. Now, that started off of a one-on-one by as much as possible.
Newley and Mills lead the Australians with 7. Wade leads the Americans with 8, and LeBron James puts it in.
Now, if you're Brian Gorgon, you're going to take your chances that LeBron James, you got to play the odds if you're Australia.
Ansey, nice feed to David Anderson, and the USA left the back door open. Ball asleep a little bit right there?
Sure he did.
Kobe Bryant directing LeBron.
See, right now, LeBron's playing 1-on-3.
Behind the back to his good buddy Carmelo Anthony. Blocked from behind by Ansey, and Chris Ansey comes up with the rebound. Knocked away by Carmelo. LeBron down there digging for it as well. And we have a jump ball, and settle down, guys. That was Worthington and LeBron James. You gotta like this effort.
Worthington's a guy that was a Division II. I think maybe the best player in the world, getting down and dirty, and you see right now picking up full court.
Yeah, and picking on David Barlow. And Kobe gets it up ahead to LeBron James, who mashes it down.
And Kobe is court when it's 5 versus 5, and your opponent is playing inside the three-point line.
LeBron James, he is in full effect at this point. He has 9, and the Americans lead by 9.
And this is the feast or famine that we talked about. Or Dwayne Wade.
LeBron left open again. A little bit long with that one, tracked down by Kobe.
See, now you got the 6-foot Bruton on Kobe.
LeBron's looking for that dunk, and he gets an and one because he can hang in the air like that.
Now that offensive rebound and the kick out to LeBron, that created a lot of space. See how much space now as Australia really didn't regroup in a half court and build that wall. You want to do. You don't have to steal it, but just bother the man with the ball.
Worthington, rejected by LeBron James into the third row.
And Now there's only one on the shot clock.
That was contested, and he missed it. Tapped up by Wade, nothing doing. Dwight Howard had it taken away nicely underneath by Newley. And back comes Mills. Shot out of a cannon. Lefty layup is good.
Now he went right by Darren Williams, coast to coast. Young man will be a sophomore at St. Mary's in Moraga. St. Mary's, Gonzaga, San Diego, three of the better teams in that league. But this guy, he came into his own this year. You know, how to at least stay with Team USA.
Intercepted by the Americans. Dwayne Wade to LeBron, and he puts it in.
Again, once the steal, the defense creating offense for team.
In the game today, his blow-by move is virtually unstoppable. 1 second left. Mills does get it off, and he almost banked it in. LeBron James, the king, has been in full effect. He has 14 points to lead the Americans. Dwayne Wade has 10 and a 15-point lead for the USA as we head to halftime. Fran and I back with coverage in a moment. State shot 44% in the first half. The Aussies 39%. Matthew Nielsen out to Barlow, and the Aussies start the third quarter in style.
Very sharp ball movement off the 3-second line, so the missed shot means the Aussies are going to come up with that rebound.
Newley with the drive, gets by the defense, and it rings in.
And Newley, solid young player.
2007 NBA draft, and Newley last year rewarded that pick with a Greek All-Star appearance.
He, as you see, Dwight Howard inside off the inbounds. Newley made 8 straight threes in a Greek league game this year, so back off of him and make him shoot jump shots. So at some point, his leadership has been outstanding, but his lack of scoring is going to be a liability.
Oh, was that a nice block by Carmelo Anthony on a terrific move to the hoop by Newley. Bruton cashes in a 3, and Australia within 6.
What have we said? When they don't turn the ball over and they run crisp half-court offense.
I mean, I wouldn't exactly say the Americans are on the ropes right now, but that was a nice hoop by David Barlow, and the Australians within 4, but,
said Australia's taking care of the basketball, and they're running very effective half-court offense.
Kobe Bryant down low to Melo. He missed underneath because the Aussies are playing rigid defense.
Now, you can't call a timeout until there's dead ball, so let's just see if they do call one, and again, the coach can only call a timeout. No player on the floor can.
Here's Nielsen hitting over Carmelo Anthony, and the Australians back within 4, 6:14 to go in the third.
Crisis management, the things that come up over the course of a long 2-week tournament.
Anstey spinning on Howard. Barlow, pretty good fake on Carmelo, into the corner. In and out with that 3, and rebounded by Carmelo, walks the tightrope and saves it into LeBron. Kidd into the teeth of the D, out to Kobe Bryant for 3, knocks it down. The United States back by 9.
Nice rhythm jumper right there. Good penetration by Kidd to get into the lane. Against Argentina in that close loss a few days ago.
Is he an NBA prospect, Fran?
He is. He's small, but nice look.
Yes, that was Nielsen to Anstey.
Yeah, based on the first year in college basketball, he is. But he is tiny. He's about 5'10". But great look down the lane. You see the double team, but no rotation from the weak side. Melo anticipating to jump that passing lane. But anytime you double team the low post, you got to protect the rim from the weak side.
No protecting the rim against Carmelo Anthony when he has menace in mind.
Really does a good job of running their half-court offenses, so you have to stay disciplined. Stay within your assignments.
Anstey. Yes, he hits a 3. He said, why not? And the Australians within 6 without Andrew Bogut.
And he's the ultimate pick-and-pop guy, Anstey.
Carmelo off. Rebounded by Kidd, looking for a cutter. Up high to Dwight. Dwight turns, Dwight scores.
See, now right now you got Australia's got Anderson with 4 fouls. You don't have Bogut in there, so done today is they're just playing off him and really daring him to shoot, taking away the paint.
Kobe. Couple of free throws coming up for KB10, 3-time NBA champion, looking for his first gold medal, and what a ball fake.
You get the feeling the fans here are more excited. Wang Zhu Had some quality big guys.
Soon Yui, drafted by the Lakers a year or two ago. Here's Worthington knocking it down, and Australia just hanging around. Missed them both, and the rebound to Chris Bosh. Chris Paul up to D. Wade. Tries to get by Barlow. Pretty good D up, and he drops it down beautifully to Chris Bosh.
Anytime you can get the ball handler to get a piece of the paint, you're going to draw gold jerseys, and that left Bosh right at the rim. Take a look. Two jerseys collapse, and Bosh, like a smart big man will do, will head to the rim on a baseline drive. Just get to the middle of the lane, and your ball handlers will find you. Here's Wade. Lays it in with the left hand, and a moment ago, you really got a feeling for what it feels like to get dunked on. Here's Newley shielding Paul, and he follows his miss. Good effort by the 23-year-old. Comes off athleticism and explosiveness. Barlow turns the corner on Wade, and he throws it up and in with the left hand against two defenders. Let me tell you, the minute Dwayne Wade reached for the ball on the perimeter, Barlow was gone. Wade lost his center of balance, and that allowed Barlow to get all the way to the rim. Here's LeBron. Oh, what a nice pass to Chris Bosh. He converts again. Great look. Arizona State, former Nebraska Player of the Year. He's an expat now playing for Australia. Closing seconds of the third. Wade with the crossover. Wade slithering, and there are zeros on the clock. The foul was called before. And D. Wade just showing you the athleticism and the explosiveness that is all the way back after 21 in the third. In the first four third quarters in this pre-Olympic tour, the Americans outscored their opponents by an average of 10 per quarter as Michael Redd scores. So a surreal third quarter for the Americans. They led long ago for Ray, but Michael Redd recently has added the drive to his game, and it's really throwing the defense off. No, it is. It's like having a fastball and then a curveball. And there's Dwayne Wade off the drive, and that looked like a little junk defense. Almost looked like a box and one. Was this a screwball by Dwayne Wade? Tell you, does he have that ability to get into defenses? And they might even have a defense that Team USA doesn't see the entire Olympics. May come up in the medal round. Nielsen galloping. He went glass. It was goaltended by Dwayne Wade. I realized Michael Redd missed that three a moment ago. Came in off the ball. No, I just tried to pick him up in my fantasy league. He was already on a team. Fran Fraschilla was giving me fantasy baseball tips. I loved it. Dwight Howard. Oh, he was blocked by Chris Anstey, but a foul. And Dwight Howard was looking to bring the house down. Yes, he was. And this lead now is expanding. I know the Rangers can hit pitching, but can they pitch? Hey, hard to pitch when it's 100 degrees. Telling you, it's hot. By Glenn Seville. And the Aussies have changed up a little bit. They've gone to a little bit of a matchup zone. They still packing it in. How about Bruton? Right between the eyes, and Australia within 8. Well, you're looking at a guy that's 32 years old, and he's played a lot of international basketball, so it doesn't matter who he's playing against right now. Guy's a good player. Right back at you. Americans back up 10. Last week watching Team USA. In fact, he'll have some good inside information because his son Chris, a member of Mike Krzyzewski's Duke coaching staff, is part of the coaching staff here for Team USA. Steve Wojciechowski and Johnny Dawkins. And LeBron James with his second ruthless rejection of this game. So Doug Collins will have all the information he'll need, and boy, I love listening to him. Him and Yubi. That three-pointer is drained from way downtown by Joe Ingles, who's just checked into the game, and he doesn't need to warm up at all. Joe's a 20-year-old. He's been an early entry in the NBA draft, pulled his name out again this year. A long, athletic wing player. Oh, how did Kobe fit that pass through to Wade? Now, that's been a key now. USA has done a nice job. In 9 Eastern Time. Under 5 minutes to go. Here is CP, 13 to Dwight Howard, a.k.a. D. Howitzer. At the very beginning of this game, we talked about the Aussies playing that packed-in defense. They don't have the athleticism to really guard you on the perimeter, but USA's game did make it to about the 4-minute mark of the fourth. United States back with it, up 11. Chris Paul just throws it in. That wasn't really a teardrop, not really a jumper. What was that? Cheer. Excuse me, Rudy Fernandez. Ricky Rubio will be an NBA draft pick next year. Nice cut. See the offense when you don't turn the ball over and you run. The closest game they've had on this Olympic tour, pre-Olympic tour I should say, was against Russia. It was a 21-point game.
Ansi.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at the left-handed finger roll on the run.
That was the lowest finger roll I've ever seen. He shot that ball from about 3 feet.
Chris Paul, he just hit from that spot a moment ago.
That's how Chris Paul, what I call the high paint pull-up.
Knocked away by Chris Paul, steal leader in the NBA last year. And here is LeBron with a mega blast.
And Dwight Howard gets the assist. He tipped that ball. It's a slightly different language than the NBA language.
Patrick Mills pulls and gets the layup to go. Patrick Mills, a coming out party of sorts for those in the States that haven't seen him play for St. Mary's College. And there's an offensive foul called on Chris Paul, and it's drawn by Mills.
Patrick Mills, 11 points today. He tortured USA a couple years ago in the Under-19 World Championship, so he made his mark on the international scene, and then he...
Falap by Patrick Mills. Mills driving, pulling back, and nailing the baseline J.
Oh, if you're Mark Few and Gonzaga right now, you're having some nightmares because this kid is a handful.
This dude can play. So can Dwayne Wade. And one.
Boy, have you been impressed with, Rick, with Dwayne Wade's not only ability to get to the rim, but how about how healthy he looks?
He looks absolutely fantastic. He looks like D. Wade circa the 2006 Finals against Dallas when he won MVP. He has a chip on his shoulder right now because of all the doubters. D. Wade, I never doubted you, baby. 21 points for him in the game, and that is Worthington underneath.
And once again, because Team USA's ball pressure has subsided in the second half, it's allowed Australia to really run their offense, and you got to give Brian Gorgian a lot of credit because he had his team ready to play without Andrew Bogut, and I think they're going to gain a lot of confidence from this. In fact, Australia's been really impressive in this game, and they'd be a dangerous team in the medal round.
LeBron with the shot clock winding down, in and out for him, and we are 5 seconds to go on this pre-Olympic tour. And a strong move, and a block again by LeBron James, a defensive stamp to the pre-Olympic tour for Team USA by LeBron James as the Americans win against Australia 87-76. It was closer than D. Wade and the Americans would have liked. Their closest game on this pre-Olympic tour, but nevertheless they win and go 5-0. Next stop, Beijing.